Hey everybody, we're back with another Death Bottle reaction. It's two more I wanted to do last night, but I think kind of overshadowed the ones that I did because recently the actor who played uh, the original Green Power Ranger and the White Tiger Ranger, uh, Jason David Frank had passed away. So I was already going to do it this week anyway, but it's kind of like very poor timing and bittersweet. But I did a Death Bottle reaction of the White Tiger Zord versus Gundam Epion and reacted to the Dragon Zord versus Mecha Godzilla. So I was like, I might as well like throw in like Power Rangers too, just like try to get like a significant amount of Power Rangers into the fray of this Death Bottle reactions while I'm at it. So today I will be reacting to Power Rangers versus Voltron. Now, as a kid, I watched, not like adamantly, every time it was on, but whenever I caught it, a fair amount of Voltron. So I'm familiar with it, like a uber fan of it. But like I'm familiar with it and I like it enough, but it's not like one of those things I put it very high on my favorite things as a kid. But I did gravitate to Power Rangers though, so it'll be interesting to see Power Rangers versus Voltron, something that I believe a lot of people want to see. And I think like if it's going on like a person to person, Power Rangers will whoop like the Voltron kids' ass. But as far as like dealing with like the Zords aspect of it, that's a little bit more more of like okay, that's like a decent thought, like who would win. But without further ado, let's get right into it. But before we do, don't forget to leave a like and hit the notification bell if you like reactions like this, and support the other reactions that I have on my YouTube channel. Links are in the description. You can follow me on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Patreon as well, and Instagram. And so let's continue. And definitely support the Death Battle people as well, because they make great content.
It's finally time for one of the biggest matchups in Death Battle history.
Yeah, the giant robot fight of all giant robot fights.
The Megazord, the heavy-hitting mech commanded by 5 Power Rangers.
And Voltron, the defender of the universe, piloted by 5 paladins.
For this matchup, there will be no Dragon Zords, no Galaxy Garrisons, no Robot Brachiosaurus, and no mice.
Just a good old 5v5 war of the giant robots. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
Oh my
During
God,
Walmart's Black
it's
Friday.
not the time. Doggone ads. It's not the time. It's really not the time. Sorry, everybody. To get through this. I don't have. I understand I do not have the resources, but it's just like I don't want to go through all the process with the whole edit crap. So you getting this raw.
Phrasing?
Since the dawn of time, good has battled the forces of evil. The vicious witch Rita Repulsa and her giant monsters waged war with the good-natured galactic sage Zordon.
Their 2,000-year war finally ended when Rita zapped him into a time warp, but not before Zordon managed to lock her up in a space dumpster?
Yes, apparently that thing is a space
Scorpina.
dumpster, or to put more accurately,
was
a
cute.
galactic recycling bin. However, Zordon knew it was only a matter of time
After
before Rita
10,000
escaped
years,
to
I'm
conquer
free!
Earth once more.
Good thing Zordon had thousands of years to come up with a foolproof plan. He could summon the 5 greatest warriors from around the galaxy to defend the planet. Or...
This day and age, if the Power Rangers port, because usually back in the day in the 90s, it's like just like streaks of like colors. But this day and age, I want to see like electrical like bolts of lightning, like if like Thor being summoned to the earth, he comes in like a bolt of lightning. I want to see red, blue, yellow, pink, black lightning just shrieks like right down into the ground, and they're summoned. That would be a more badass modern way of Power Rangers porting into places.
Teleport to us 5 overbearing and over-emotional humans.
No, not that, not teenagers.
That plan is asinine, but somehow it worked. Zordon granted 5 teenagers the ability to draw power from a dimension called the Morphin Grid. This molecular transmutation turns them into superhumans with access to mighty mechanical beasts called Zords, becoming the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Mastodon! Pterodactyl! Triceratops! Stupid Tiger! Tyrannosaurus!
Go,
Power Rangers! Gotta
First,
love
there's
that.
Jason Lee Scott, the Red Ranger.
Red
He's
Ranger,
a fearless
the
leader,
OG.
expert martial artist, and owns one of the coolest Zords of the bunch, the
Everybody wanted to be
Tyrannosaurus
Jason.
Rex.
Billy Cranston, the Blue Ranger, is the genius of the group.
love
He loves
Billy.
to work
Billy
with
is
machines,
my
especially
dog.
his
I love
impressive
Billy.
Triceratops Zord. With its grappling hook horns, this 140-ton behemoth can stop a foe in its tracks.
Trini Kwan, the Yellow Ranger,
R.I.P.
is equal
Trini.
parts brains and martial arts specialist. She's a threat both outside and inside her speedy saber-toothed Tiger Zord.
Kimberly Ann Hart, the Pink Ranger, is a smack-talking valley girl who has the skies covered in her pterodactyl Zord, which can fly at 2.5 times the speed of sound.
Last but not least, there's Zach Taylor, the Black Ranger, who's mastered his own fighting
Hip-hop
style
keto.
called Hip-Hop Keto.
He made it work. It was slightly raisin, but like he made it work. And it was pretty
Yep,
dope.
this guy fights aliens with the power of dance, along with his Mastodon Zord. Although
Mastodon.
slow, this Zord can freeze blast enemies with ice, or saran wrap if you're short on budget.
But when 5 giant mechanical beasts aren't enough to keep the villains
Which one
down,
was your favorite
these
Zord? 'Cause I
machines
kinda like the
join
Mastodon.
together to...
We're just the coolest friggin' thing you've ever seen in your life!
This is the Megazord, a 333-foot colossus with enough power to effortlessly tear down buildings, sometimes unintentionally. All 5 Rangers pilot the
should've
Megazord as
killed a
one,
lot of people in their
combining their
fights
own martial
during
arts
these
skills to
shows.
defeat giant monsters.
It's like a giant rock'em sock'em robot with laser beams. He can fry enemies with its cranial laser, blast fireballs from its hands, shoot immobilizing beams from its eyes, and even use the Mastodon's face as a shield. And when it's time to send someone to an early grave, they summon their Blade Ex Machina, the Power Sword.
Little known fact, simply touching the Power Sword can recharge the Megazord if it's low on power.
It's not just a battery. This giant sword is over 100 feet long and orbits the Earth when not in use. Plus, it can launch energy waves and cut down almost any monster with just one swing.
And there's even more. It's a surprisingly versatile weapon, like with this feature they implemented against the Nasty Knights.
Any energy we throw at him, he just reflects back at us. That's why our weapons are burned out.
So what do we do about it?
Reflect his energy back at him, along with a bit of our own.
I don't get it.
Apparently, the Power Sword can absorb oncoming kinetic energy and turn it against the attacker, drastically increasing the Megazord's striking power.
Well, after pummeling monsters every weekday afternoon, the Power Rangers have been through almost everything. From
I like
fighting
that
a
the monsters they
world-destroying
fight,
dragon
like
to
get slashed and they do the jump like boom, explode. It was like, campy, but man, it was so
a
cool.
giant walking pumpkin. Ooh,
And sometimes
rats.
Ooh, you Rangers make me mad! Waking me up with a rap that bad!
They've even fought Kimberly's purse.
Man, these villains were getting desperate. And so were the riders.
Anyway,
Yeah,
the
some of the
Megazord
monsters
is
were kinda
strong enough to
goofy.
lift and throw the 170-ton Dragon Zord into a mountain with little effort.
So long, Gay Bowser.
Even the individual Zords can support the weight of whole monsters on their own. While many of these monsters should weigh similar to the Megazord, some certainly weigh even more. In fact, in a general scale, when you double the size of an object, its weight increases by a factor of 8. Comparing these organic monsters to human beings means some of them could weigh as much as 10,000 tons.
And the Megazord even gut-punched one of them over 100 feet into the air.
Assuming that monster is 10,000 tons, lifting at 133 feet would require about 90 million newtons of force. 50 times as much force as a space shuttle's launching thrust.
With that kind of strength, I bet you could backhand a person into outer space.
That's oddly specific.
Strange, wasn't it? Regardless, they've used that strength to take down countless monsters capable of wiping out all life on Earth. They even went toe-to-toe with Cyclopsis, a Warzord designed to conquer entire worlds.
But even for the Power Rangers, defending the Earth is no small job. When they least expect it, the Megazord's energy supply can be quickly exhausted in the middle of combat.
And it doesn't help that half the reason is because they just get hit so damn much. Despite the Megazord's awesome power, it's really lacking in the whole maneuverability department. I mean, come on! It can at least try to avoid an attack.
But when the enemy hits hard, the Power Rangers hit back even harder. With the fate of the world lying in their hands, no one can ever take them down.
Bring him down!
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers!
God, I love that freaking song. Sorry, worry about getting like any kind of demonetization or whatever.
Limited today.
From days of long ago, from uncharted regions of the universe, comes a legend.
In less cryptic terms, 1,200 years ago, the evil Drool Empire nearly conquered the entire known universe. But not everybody was cool with fleets of ships shooting up their planets, so a team of scientists and magic priests decided to fight back.
Through the marriage of magic and technology, they forged a 300-foot-tall living automaton, so powerful that it single-handedly pushed back the Empire's onslaught. Before long, the whole universe had heard of the mechanical knight known as Voltron.
Pissed that he was losing everything because of some space robot, the Empire's King Zarkon ordered a space witch to kill Voltron with a magic space spell. And it kinda worked. Instead of being destroyed, Voltron was split up into 5 very merchandisable robot lions.
Divided and stripped of its sentience, the universe's best hope had fallen.
Until 5 space explorers crash-landed on Eris, the exact same planet the lions just so happened to be hiding on. Destiny or some crap led them to the castle where the Princess Allura gave them a life-changing opportunity. Pilot the long-lost lions and go around
Princess
saving
Zelda.
the universe for a living.
Keith Cogain is the head of the Lion Force in more ways than one. As leader of the team, he commands his cohorts, and he pilots the Black Lion, the literal head of Voltron.
Lance McClane is the Han Solo of the group. This hot-headed show-off controls the Red Lion, which forms Voltron's right arm.
Tsuyoshi Garrett, better known as Hunk, is the muscle of the team. He pilots the Yellow Lion, which forms Voltron's left leg.
The Blue Lion is piloted by Sven Holgersson. Oh, he did. The Blue Lion is piloted by Princess Allura herself, taking over after the original pilot got a bad case of stabbing. Her lion forms Voltron's right leg.
Last up is Daryl Stoker. You can call him Pidge. Pidge pilots the Green Lion, Voltron's left arm.
And he's also, well, a little unhinged.
Pinch! Get rid of that grenade!
At least his outfit matches his lion's colors. I mean, damn, it's not that hard, people.
And when
Yeah,
all
that didn't
5
make any
lions
sense to me.
combine, Voltron lives again.
Activate Mega Thrusters! Form feet and legs, form arms and body, and I'll form the head.
You ever think about how the pilots stay in the heads of the lions when they're fighting? That has to be, like, ridiculously nauseating.
Oh, undoubtedly. That's probably why they usually travel by flight and prefer long-range combat over hand-to-hand.
Speaking of which, Voltron got busy fighting Zarkon's giant roe beasts and saving the universe with a huge assortment of weapons. Voltron can shoot stingray missiles and even pillars of flame out of its hands and feet, or blast the lion heads off like rockets. It can stun enemies with ion dart lasers from its head, or use the Electro Force cross attack from its chest.
On Keith's command, the Lion Force can manifest Voltron's most powerful weapons out of thin air. Everything from spinning laser blades to javelins to nunchucks.
But the real showstopper is the almighty Blazing Sword.
Form Blazing Sword!
Form Blazing Sword!
With this blade, Voltron can slice through most roe beasts like jello and dish
Blazing
out the
sword.
Starfire attack, which splits roe beasts apart and also makes a friggin' tornado for good measure.
The Blazing Sword can also conduct electricity to recharge Voltron itself.
Why are all these swords also batteries?
The Blazing Sword is enormously powerful, capable of destroying a satellite hundreds of times larger than Voltron. Voltron himself is powerful enough to melt meteors, kick giant machines sky high, and tank explosions the size of countries.
The Voltron Lions have even traveled between galaxies in less than a day, making them several times faster than the speed of light.
Voltron has also survived landing on the Omega Comet, which is so dense it possesses the gravitational force of a black hole.
Okay, that all sounds insane, but even giant robot man lions have their limits, like getting ganged up on by multiple roe beasts at once, or getting stabbed and sliced open. But black hole levels of gravity? That's a cakewalk, right?
Voltron may be strong, but it lacks the finesse and skill of one trained in martial arts. Voltron also carries a shocking design flaw. If the release plates on its joints are struck in combat, it could jettison an entire limb from the core body.
Wait. You're telling me that if I kick Voltron, freaking Voltron, in the shins hard enough, he'll just lose a leg and it'll just pop right off?
Essentially, yes, though it has only happened in training. Even so, whether the Lion Force is up against a technical issue or a colossal roe beast, the universe can always depend on Voltron. All right, the combatants are set. Let's end this debate once and for all.
But first, all this talk of
Okay. My money's on Power Rangers. I'm sorry. That's just me.
right now, it's time for a death battle!
Hey, it's me, your skin. I crave being clear without irritation. CeraVe Acne Cleanser.
Scanners on, team! Seems the prehistoric activity originates here.
Finally! If I don't see a dinosaur today, I'm blaming you.
Quiet, Les. I'm picking up something.
Power Rangers! Hello! We need dinosaur power now!
Huh? What's happening?
I think I found the dinosaurs.
All right, Rangers, plug on!
Zach here. This is Kickin'. This is Billy. All systems go.
Trini reporting, ready to rock. I love this part. Let's tame these kittens.
For Voltron!
I love the transformers.
For feet and legs, form arms and body, and I'll form the head.
I'll form the head.
Megazord battle mode!
Form spinning laser blades. Running
Let's show them how it's done! It's a sword!
Seriously! Form Blazing Sword!
Isn't this usually the part where we win?
Yeah, they kind of like make the first ball like this.
Wait, the sword!
Voltron can really like one Megazord.
Dixon, look! He's wide open!
Pitch! No! Alright guys, let's finish this!
We need to move!
Pitch! The sword!
Give him covering fire!
With what?
Everything!
Quick! Redirect the energy!
It's too much!
KO!
Now that's what I call a battle!
There's a good reason why Voltron is the defender of the universe. While the Megazord boasted excellent abilities in hand-to-hand and sword combat, Voltron couldn't go down so easily.
Voltron's huge arsenal put it ahead, especially in long range. Even when the Megazord could get in close, it couldn't keep up with Voltron's blazing speed. I mean, Voltron travels between galaxies in a matter of hours, and it can fly.
The Megazord once punched a monster weighing at most 10,000 tons 133 feet into the air. In contrast, Voltron kicked a 3,900-ton mutated bulldozer nearly 1,900 feet up. Despite Voltron's monster weighing less than the Megazord's, this is still a more impressive feat. Comparing weight and distance traveled for both feats, Voltron's requires at least 5.5 times more strength.
Plus, Voltron clearly had the superior durability, especially with that black hole comet feat.
The Omega Comet's pull could destroy entire planets within 62 miles of itself, which means the comet could output forces of over 13 sextillion newtons.
The Megazord couldn't survive anything close to that level of power. We can prove it. Later in Power Rangers history, they upgraded their mech to the Thunder Megazord, which is specifically stated to be more powerful than the original Megazord in every way.
The new Zords will serve you well.
Once mastered, your Zords will reveal even greater powers.
When this new Megazord fought against a giant Zord called Serpentera, which at full power could destroy planets, a single blast from it easily tore the Thunder Megazord apart. And that blast didn't even use half of Serpentera's power.
Voltron outclassed the Megazord in almost every way that counted, including strength, speed, and durability. Trust me, I'm not lying.
The winner is Voltron.
That's disappointing. I'm slightly biased because I like Power Rangers more so than Voltron. I mean, I like Voltron, but I've just never been like, the like a uber fan of it as much as like I've been like a fan of Power Rangers. But I mean, they have a point. I remember that whole Serpentera thing when I was a kid, and that thing did blast that Thunder Megazord apart. And just like in they mentioned in we're not gonna bring it up in case you haven't seen my reaction to Dragon Zord versus Mechagodzilla, but it was, I remember in many like instances of Megazord's fights, it tends to get blown apart if the morphing grid gets kind of like overtaxed, or even like the Zord itself gets overtaxed, and it kind of falls apart with significant amount of power. That's how they have to upgrade sometimes in order to compensate. Voltron never had to, as far as I remember from watching Voltron, they never had like Mega Ultra Voltron Plus or whatever. Voltron pretty much, like, by and large stayed the same and managed to overcome with, I guess, strategy to deal with any of its enemies. But yeah, I mean, the facts are the facts. From Dead Battle are pretty good with like crunching the numbers. They usually spend a lot of time with trying to figure out with like with the staff that they have, like, okay, you Chunk work on this character while you Chunk work on the opposing side. Gather the information and the science and the math, and we'll start comparing and contrasting, and that's usually how they come up with like the results of who will win, and then they do the reenactment after the fact. So the facts lay bare, like Voltron will beat the Megazord, turns out, which is disappointing, but is what it is. But let me know in the comments below if you agree or if you disagree. Let me know what you disagree about the results. Be respectful.